Hi, today I want to talk about our inner drive, the two types of motivation. Imagine two people standing at the edge of a swimming pool. One person is there because they love the feeling of cool water on a hot day. They can't wait to dive in. The other person is there because someone threatened to push them if they don't jump in. Both end up in the water, but their experiences couldn't be more different. This scenario reveals two types of motivations. How you motivate yourself matters just as much as what you're trying to achieve. Today, I want to share with you about the two fundamentally different ways we drive ourselves forward and understanding why this difference could transform everything we do. So, what really drives us? As a precondition, motivation comes from goal setting or something you want to do. So, when you don't have a goal or any idea of what you want to do, you have no motivation. We all know motivation is important. It's what gets us up in the morning, pushes us toward our goals, and keeps us moving when things get tough. But there are actually two types of completely different motivation that's working inside us. They create entirely different results in our lives. Think about the last time you truly felt energized about a project or a goal. How did it feel? And now think about a time when you did something only because you just had to. Do you notice the difference? Those are the two different types of motivations. Constructive motivation is the want to mindset. Constructive motivation is the kind that actually works with your natural energy instead of against it. That energy is the motivation. Constructive motivation operates on three simple words, such as I want to, I choose to, and I like to. When you're constructively motivated, you're like that first person at the swimming pool. You're there because you want to be there. You can visualize the benefits, feel excited about the outcome, and naturally find creative ways to achieve your goals. Let me give you some everyday examples. The fitness example. Instead of thinking, I have to exercise or I'll gain weight and be unhealthy, constructive motivation sounds like, I want to feel strong and energetic. I love how I feel after a good workout. I choose to take care of my body because it makes everything else in my life better. The career example. Rather than thinking, I have to get this promotion or I'll be stuck forever, you'll rather say, I'm excited about the new challenges this role would bring. I can see myself growing and contributing more to the team. I want to develop these new skills. The relationship example. Instead of, I have to call my parents or else they'll complain, you can think, I love connecting with my family. The conversation makes me feel at home and reminds me of what's important to me. Notice the constructive motivation creates positive anticipation, or you can say positive anticipation creates constructive motivation. When you operate this way, your subconscious mind becomes your ally, working to find creative solutions and opportunities you might otherwise miss. And there's the restrictive motivation. Now, let's talk about restrictive motivation. The approach some of us learned growing up, often without realizing it. Restrictive motivations run on fear, obligation, and the dreaded phrase, or else. This is like being the second person at the pole. You're there not because you want to be, but because you're afraid of what will happen if you're not. Here's the problem with restrictive motivation. It turns your own mind against you. When you feel pushed, even by yourself, you automatically want to push back. It's human nature. Remember being a teenager when your parents told you to clean your room. The more they insisted, you have to clean your room or else, the more your brain seemed to find reasons why you couldn't, shouldn't, or wouldn't. That's restrictive motivation backfiring. The two phases of restrictive motivation. Restrictive motivation shows up in two main ways, and recognizing them can be important. The two types of restrictive motivation are coercive motivation and inhibitive motivation. Coercive motivation is the have to or else. Coercive motivation is when you bully yourself with threats. Your internal dialogue sounds like, I have to work late or else I'll get fired. Or, I have to say yes to this invitation or else they'll think I'm unsociable. Or, I have to lose weight or else no one will find me attractive. Here's a personal example many can relate to. Think about how you approach household chores. If you tell yourself, I have to clean the kitchen or else my family will be angry, notice what happens. Suddenly you find every possible distraction, checking your phone, remembering urgent emails, deciding the laundry is more important. Your subconscious is literally rebelling against being forced. But if you shift to, I want a clean, organized space because it helps me feel calm and in control, the same task becomes easier, even enjoyable. The other type of restrictive motivation is inhibitive motivation. It is the I can't or else. Inhibitive motivation is when fear of consequences freezes us into inaction. This is the I can't or something terrible might happen mindset. Think about asking someone to do you a favor. What if they say no? What if I look silly? What if they laugh? This shows up in life constantly. What if I start that business and fail? Everyone will think I'm irresponsible. What if I speak up in the meeting and say something wrong? They'll think I don't belong here and I'll feel pathetic. Inhibited motivation keeps us playing small, avoiding risks, and missing opportunities because we're so focused on what could go wrong and we can't see what could go right. The real world impact. Let me share why this matters in your daily life. When a person is stuck in restrictive motivation, they need to shift to constructive motivation, focusing on the benefits rather than feeling that they have no control over the situation. The same principle applies whether you're a parent trying to motivate your kids, an employee seeking a promotion, someone wanting to improve their health, anyone pursuing a meaningful goal. How to shift your motivation. So, how do you move from restrictive to constructive motivation? Start by listening to your internal dialogue. When you catch yourself using have to language, pause and ask yourself, what do I actually want to achieve here? What benefits will I gain from this? How can I choose to approach this differently? Do I really want to do this? Instead of I have to exercise, try thinking I want to feel energetic and strong. Instead of I have to socialize with people or my career will stagnate, try I'm curious about connecting with people who share my interests and might open new possibilities. Constructive motivation unleashes energy and creativity. When you truly want something, your mind becomes incredibly resourceful and inventive. When you shift from I have to I want to, you're not just changing words, you're unlocking your natural creativity, energy, or motivation, and awareness, which means opening up your reticular activating system for information. You move from pushing yourself uphill to riding a wave of your own enthusiasm. Your challenge. Here's my challenge for you. For the next week, pay attention to your motivation language. Every time you catch yourself thinking or saying, I have to, pause and reframe or rephrase it as I want to, or I choose to, or I like to. Notice how this simple shift changes not just how you feel, but how you perform. Notice how solutions start appearing, how obstacles feel smaller, and how much more energy you will have for the things that matter to you. The difference between constructive motivation and restrictive motivation isn't just academic. It's the difference between living with energy and joy versus constantly fighting against yourself. It's the difference between feeling like the author of your life versus feeling like a victim of circumstances. You have the power to choose how you motivate yourself. You can be your own best coach. The choice, as always, is yours.